What if I told you? A 25-year-old king from a small, forgotten kingdom destroyed the world's largest empire. With just 33,000 men, he faced a Persian force over 10 times his size and won. This wasn't just a war between kings. It was a clash between two worlds. 334 BC, imagine a time, before maps, before mobile phones, before even Rome rose to power. In the northern part of Greece, there was a small but ambitious kingdom, Macedonia, and ruling that land was a young, wild, barely 20-something man named Alexander. But Alexander wasn't just any king. He had been trained by Aristotle. He had grown up hearing stories of Achilles and Hercules, and now he had a dream of his own, to conquer the world. But there was just one problem. The world already had a king, Darius III, the ruler of the Persian Empire. His empire stretched from Egypt to India. He had gold, horses, armies, and cities that dwarfed anything Alexander had ever seen. But what Alexander lacked in numbers, he made up with something else. Something far more dangerous, madness. Alexander's first major test came at the Granicus River, a flowing deadly river with Persian cavalry waiting on the other side. They weren't expecting a charge. Not immediately. But Alexander, he didn't wait. He led from the front. His horse splashed into the current. His men followed, clashing steel with the enemy. But then, an arrow! It struck Alexander in the chest. Time slowed. Was this it? The end of the young conqueror before he even began? But no. Alexander pulled it out, screamed, and charged harder. The Persians couldn't believe it. This wasn't war. It was a storm. By nightfall, the battlefield was silent, and the first great Persian stronghold that had fallen. A year later, came the Battle of Issus. Alexander was deep into Persian territory. And then Darius himself appeared, with an army 10 times larger. In open land, Alexander would have been annihilated. But he didn't give Darius that chance. He trapped the Persians in a narrow valley, using the terrain to his advantage. Darius's massive army couldn't maneuver. They were stuck. They were confused. And then, Alexander struck. The Persian king panicked. He abandoned his soldiers, and even his own family, wife, mother, daughters, behind. But what Alexander did next, it shocked even his enemies. He didn't harm them. He treated them with royal respect, because Alexander knew something most warlords forget. You can win a war with a sword, but you win empires with compassion. As soldiers fought valiantly on the borders, the battle unseen adversary crept silently through the lands. The Antonine Plague, this grim phantom, 1 million smallpox, wreaked havoc on the population, leaving a wake of despair and sorrow in battle, with millions succumbing to its deadly grip. Alexander pretended to retreat, the once thriving economy, Darius's forces now a crumbling monument to a forgotten era. His famous struggled to survive under the weight of the devastation. He circled around and shattered the Amidst the chaos, the elite, Darius cloaked in their wealth, terrified, hoarded gold like lifebuoys in a storm. Indifferent to the suffering surrounding them. As their fortunes grew, the common folk faced unbearable hardships, grappling with skyrocketing inflation. Here's what textbooks don't tell you. Picture a world where the price of bread soared by 1,000% in just a decade. A stark contrast to the gluttony of the powerful who remained untouched by the plight of the masses. He adopted Persian customs, sat on a Persian throne, and even recruited Persian soldiers into his army. His own men, his own Greek generals, were shocked. But Alexander had a vision. If you want to rule the world, you must become part of it. At the age of just 32, Alexander the Great died, suddenly, without warning. Some say it was a fever, others whisper it was poison. A few believe it was his own men who killed him. Why? Because they feared the king they loved was turning into a Persian himself. To this day, the truth is lost. All we know is that the greatest conqueror in human history was gone. So who was Alexander? A visionary, a madman, a hero, or a traitor to his own people? Comment below. Let's debate. Was he great, or just lucky? And if you love real, raw, untold history like this, smash that subscribe button. Because here, we don't just tell history, we uncover its secrets. Until next time, keep questioning. Because history is written by the victors. But is it the truth?